Hey, good morning, everybody. Sarasota Tim, coming to you from outside my hotel room here at the Hampton Inn in Abilene, Texas. And I'm retired. I'm 65 years old. I retired at the age of 62 the day I could. It was kind of an interesting situation for me and probably for many like you. When it comes to retirement, you got to have some money and you got to be debt free. You got to be ready to do it. You got to be wondering, how do you do it? When do you do it? And how much will it cost you? Well, I'm here to give you some facts that will help you in the decision if you're approaching the age of 62, which is the earliest age for collecting Social Security. It's not the earliest age to retire. In my opinion, retirement should be at the age of 55, because here's a good reason why you should consider retiring or collecting your Social Security and stop working as early as you possibly can. The whole idea of working until you're very old or much older, past the age of 62 or even 55, is nonsense. I make videos about everything, but when I started my YouTube channel, I started with one thing, but I ended up talking about Social Security because after my YouTube channel began, I started getting closer to the age of 62, and then this thing called a pandemic came along. And a lot of baby boomers like me started questioning when the pandemic was over, should they go back to work? Or do they even have a job to go back to? Or should they start their Social Security? Now, when it comes to Social Security, hang on, it's the best cup of coffee you ever drank in your life. Right here at the Hampton Inn, they got the best. A lot of people that are approaching or contemplating collecting Social Security, they've heard a few different things that are very popular. One is never take it early because you lose money. You get a reduced amount. You get cheated out. All of this stuff. Never do that. Wrong. Then they've heard of like Medicare, so they think that it starts at the age of 65 because that's when you actually do receive free medical included in your Social Security from the government. And then others say, well, I want the full benefit, so I've got to work until 67 or even all the way up to 70, because you can actually get a little bit more money from 67 to 70. 67 is the actual full retirement age, and 62 is the age that you can actually begin. So let's talk about 62. 62 is the number, folks. 62 is when you don't get a reduced amount, you get the amount. You get the most amount. You'll get more than probably you'll ever collect on Social Security for the rest of your life, for the vast majority. Because here's why. This reduced amount is a gimmick. It is to get you to delay your money from the government so they don't have to pay you for as many years as you're eligible to collect for. They want you to continue to work and pay taxes in. That's what they want you to do. They don't want to have to give anything to anybody. They're out for themselves. Don't get me started on that end. But anyway, a lot of people don't realize that the average age for a male is only 73 years old. It keeps going down in the United States of America. 73 years old? Ask yourself this question. Who do you know famous? Who do you know in your own family? Who do you know in your friends that have died in their 60s or in their early 70s? For whatever reason. A bus hit them, they got a disease, they had a heart attack, something that took them to heaven. So with that fact, knowing that you only live on an average of 73 years to 76, I think it was 76, and it just went down for the male. The women do live statistically 5 or 6 years longer than men. But if you just work with the early 70s, from 70 to 75 years old. And then let's talk about this before we get into the Social Security topic and the money. Do you realize the difference that you are from 40 to 70 years old, 50 to 70? Let's get it really down to an analogy. I love using this one. Think of when you were, or think of your son or daughter when they were 12 years old. We're talking about a 5-year difference between collecting Social Security at 62 and full retirement age at 67. There's 5 years. People say, well, that's only 5 more years. I'm going to wait. I'm going to get more money. Hold the phone. Let's get back to the analogy. You take your son or daughter at 12 years old. They are still completely dependent upon you for every single need they have in life, except going to the bathroom. Hopefully they're potty trained by then. But other than that, they need transportation provided by you, they need clothing, they need a roof over their head, the food that they eat, everything they drink, everything they experience, every class, gift, membership, thing they're into, education, all has to be provided by their parent. Not one thing are they able to do for themselves. Maybe have a Kool-Aid stand if they're really ambitious. But think about 5 years later when your son or daughter turns 17. Think about yourself when you were 17. If you're a baby boomer like me, you probably did quite a bit, as I did. I couldn't wait to get started. At 17, I could drive a car. At 17, I was graduating high school. I could get a job. I could make money. I could even marry. I could go and travel. I could go buy my own clothes. I could start experiencing things that were either good or bad for me. I could do a lot of things in 5 years. So my analogy is a 62-year-old man or a woman is one way, okay? They're a full-grown man or a woman. And then at 67, at full retirement age, they are a completely different, for the masses, individual. They are exponentially older in their thinking, in their body, and everything about your life for the masses. Sure, there's Jack LaLanne's out there that go to be 150 years old. I know. And they look not a day over 21. I know. But folks, look around. I'm from South Florida, retirement capital of the world. I see 60, 70, and 80-year-old people walking around, and man, let me tell you, they're not skateboarding, they're not paddling out, waiting on a surf, they're not, hooking up this big weight distribution hitch on this travel trailer I've got right here. They're not hooking it up and towing it with confidence over these highways with these big trucks going past them, 80 miles an hour and sucking them into the other lane. They're not doing a lot of things that take a lot more youthful thinking and ambition and fearless way of living. As you get older like that, you become more frail, you become more weak, you get less confident, and most of the time, they don't want to do anything anymore. They just want to sit in their chair and drink Geritol. Or, even worse, before they even reach that full retirement age and collect their check, they're out of this world. People are dropping dead left and right. The foods that they sell us, that they're growing, that we're eating every day, and of our own choice, are killing us. The bad habits that we have, the way people drive, this cancer and heart attacks are on the high. And the biggest reason of death, the leading cause of death in the country is going to the doctor. Misdiagnosis, wrong medications, bad surgeries. Medical errors lead cancer and heart attack in killing people in this country. And then second is cancer and heart attack. People are dropping every single day. And it doesn't matter how much money you got, folks. It doesn't matter how much you're going to wait until you're 67 to get another $600 or $700. It's not going to help you if you already have $1 million and you're a rich person, or you inherited money, or you bought and sold homes all your life and you've just made a fortune. Not $1, not $1 million is going to add one additional hour to a 24-hour day than the rest of us. It's not going to happen. I mean, it's a sad thing to remember, but look at Toby Keith. I mean, that man had more money and fame than almost anybody. Elvis Presley, so many others, folks. And the lady I'm with looks at her phone all the time, and every day it's somebody else. And these are just famous people. The people that are unknown are friends and family that are also in the hospital, that, you know, they feel a pain, they go to the doctor, they go, oh, I got it. And the doctor says, you got it, and there's nothing we can do for you. You know, 6 months, 1 month, you're gonna be out of here. And you can go to all the doctors, the best doctors, you get the best health insurance, you got millions of dollars. Nothing can save most people when they get cancers and different things like that. So you say, well, why are you talking about all that? I thought it was about Social Security. Well, it is. And it's about starting it as soon as you can, because when I started making these videos, and my YouTube channel is approaching 20 million views now, total for all of my videos, but most of them are on Social Security. And when I started making these videos, it's so funny. I wanted to know about Social Security because I was becoming 62. As I alluded to earlier in the video, a lot of baby boomers were trying to decide, do I go back to work after the pandemic? Do I collect my Social I got it. Do I collect my Social Security? What is Social Security? When can I get it? What's this reduced amount? How much am I going to be penalized? But I need money. Then they realized that 62 is the key because they saw my videos. And now you go on YouTube with the pushback that I got from some a year ago about collecting Social Security early at 62. I got people saying, don't listen to this guy. He's no financial counselor. He lives in a trailer in somebody's driveway. He don't know nothing. This guy is pitiful. He never saved. He's this, he's that. And now, just Google collecting Social Security at 62 on YouTube. Just Google it. There's countless YouTubers promoting getting your Social Security at 62. They've all jumped on board now. They've all agreed. There's hardly anybody. And then before that, I was like the only one. There was a few that said it, but most of them were like, oh, you get 8% more a year. You get 30% more if you wait till then. All promoted by those scam investors out there, those scam financial counselors that want you to keep giving them your money to invest so they make money. That's why they don't want you to retire and start spending your money and living your life. Because if you're not going to make it, that's why the government doesn't want you to collect it. You're not out there working, paying taxes in anymore. You paid your dues. You paid your taxes. Let the ones that are coming up in the ranks now put in to pay for our Social Security. Well, we paid our own, but to pay for their own. Let them earn theirs. People want to spin the story that you are paying me my Social Security. I paid me my, I paid. If it is paying ahead to others, then I paid for the ones in front of me. So it's my turn now. And when you're only going to live to 73 years old and you're 62, I mean, you got a lot less runway in front of you than you do behind you. How long are you going to wait? How many more years are you going to give away, and that's what it is, to a prison job, and that's what I call them. Because if you go to a job and they say, do this and do that work for this much money, for this many hours a day, and no loafing, and they're over your shoulder looking, making sure they're getting squeezing every hour they can out of you, okay? And then at 4 or 5 o'clock, they say, all right, you can leave, go home, get a shower, get a good night's sleep, have a meal, and then tomorrow morning, be back here, do it again. That's a prison. Now, I'm being facetious. Some people enjoy their jobs. Some people are doing jobs like heroes, firemen and policemen and those kinds of people, and even the truckers that are bringing our products. It's a saying that I have. And you have to work. You got to make your money. You got to put in so you can get your Social Security. You got to put in so you can pay for your car. You got to do all this. But you also have to realize that one day, it's not all about working. What about you? What about for Tim? What about not going to a job? What about going, see here? What about going in something like that? Or checking in to a place like this on more times than not annually than waiting for 2 weeks a year for a vacation? What about retirement? What about living free? What about golfing, going to the beach, reading a book, working on your tan, taking a walk, hitting the gym more often during the week than you could when you had a job? When you have a job, you got to pay a lot of money to go to that job. The job ain't free. You got to pay for gas, insurance, maintenance on your car, clothing, dry cleaning, lunch monies, and then you got all that stress from working in that drama. So you finally get to a point where you're 62. And I keep alluding to this because this part of the video was baby boomers after the pandemic started searching, like I did. What is Social Security? What is this reduced amount? How much can I get now? I need money now. It's my money. I want it now. So I looked into it and I watched a video, and the man was completely honest, just like I'm trying to be with you. He said, get your money. He'd already been collecting 10 or 15 years. He says, get your money. Because I started taking it at 62, I never looked back. No regrets. So I started doing some math, and this is what made my videos pretty famous, was people were like, what? Are you kidding? I thought you get less. No, folks, you get more. When you start collecting your Social Security at 62, you'll get more money for most people than you will ever get by delaying it another 5 to 7 years like some do. Believing in that bull, okay? That's all I can tell you. It's bull. And most people that end up, that wait until that point, quite a few of them die. Or they get to that point and they collect one check and die. So I'm going to show you right now. Let's get to the monies part of this video of how you're going to get more money. I'm going to put my readers on. Please excuse me. I have to have sunglasses because I do suffer from glaucoma, and my eyes are very sensitive to the light. How you doing? I really appreciate you watching the video, and I appreciate you if you give the video a like and pass it on to someone else that you think could use this information. And I've had many people from the multi-million views that I've received on these Social Security videos that have recognized me anywhere and everywhere. I can't even believe it. It's a real phenomenon. And they told me, I'm getting my Social Security at 62. Thank you so much for sharing the information that you did. I never knew. Or I did, but I didn't know what you shared. And so, where's my, my pen? I did want to change some of the math on here that I really didn't do yet that I should do before I continue this video. So I will make a little pause here just so that I'm accurate and in every way I can be to share with you why you need to get it and how much money it's going to be. Also remember, before I come right back, that you got to start your Social Security 3 months before your 62nd birthday. If you want to get it on your 62nd birthday, you got to apply 3 months ahead. Don't forget that. And you don't even get it on your 62nd birthday, actually, because Social Security requires that you become 62 years old plus 1 month. And then they take another month to give you your first check. I told you they don't want to give it to you. So you're going to be 62 years old plus 2 months before you get your first check auto deposited right into your account. And after that, it's the same day every month for the rest of your life. You got a grub stake every month coming in to cover either your overhead, like your rent or your mortgage or part of it or most of it, or your food cost. One thing in your life you're going to get free for the rest of your life, that Social Security check is going to cover. The rest of it we're going to talk about in the video, where you have a side hustle to supplement that Social Security. Because just so we're clear right up front here, Social Security is not meant to support you. Never has been, and it never will, especially in the inflation that we're living in today. It is to supplement your lifestyle. It is to enable you to work that much less than you were working all of your life, so that you can start enjoying a free life, a free time to do more. So a side hustle, working 10 to 15, maybe 20 hours a week, is what you'll do to make the same amount of money you're going to get on your Social Security, which is a game changer. And it's really something kind of cool when you work like that, because now, instead of having to get a job that's going to pay the most to pay for all those bills you've got because you're in your working years, now you're just doing whatever, you know, you feel like doing. and for the days that you want to work. And part-time people can name their own game. They can go into a place because they don't have to give you insurance or anything. You can just go in and say, I only want to work Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or I'll just work Saturday and Sunday. I want my weeks off, or I want my weekends off. You can do whatever you want. They don't have to pay you any of these benefits. They work with you. Part-time work is part-time workers is what employers like today, because they don't want to have to pay for any of those things that they're responsible for. So, I mean, maybe you just want to hand out a golf cart key at a pro shop to let somebody go golfing and also receive free golf. Maybe you have a skill set. All your life you were a mechanic, or you were in the contracting business, and you know how to go to work for yourself. And you know you're going to put up a wall for somebody, or help them throw some cement down in a driveway. Or maybe you're a worker that knows how to do hairdressing, and you want to start your own little hairdressing business. Maybe you want to walk dogs. Maybe you want to babysit. Maybe you want to do nothing. You got so much money that you've saved all your life that you don't need a side hustle. Any way you work it out, you need to be debt-free, and you need to consider, if you don't have one of those jobs that a lot of people do have, but most don't, like me. I moved around, I worked for myself, I don't have a pension or retirement. I was self-employed all of my life, and I saved my money. But a lot of people, they got these jobs, they quit, and they get a free check from them the rest of their life. And that's great, good for them. But most don't have that. Most of people are people that have gone around, they've had multiple jobs in their life, they finally get to the point where they can get their Social Security, they quit their job, they start working a little part-time side hustle and draw their Social Security. So anyway, let me get the math right. We're going to come right back. I know the video is going a little long, but hang in there with me. You're going to love these numbers, because this is going to make a believer out of you to collect that Social Security at 62. All right, we're back. That didn't take very long for you, did it? I've got my microphone in my shirt with the shirt acting as a windscreen. Hopefully you don't hear the wind blowing. But we're going to use me as an example of what I make on Social Security and what I would have made if I would have waited 5 more years at the age of 67. Now, I earn $1,700 a month, and it was a little bit less than that when I started. And Social Security, every year, they do a COLA, a cost of living adjustment, and increase it somewhat. Now, for 40 years, it hasn't increased worth even mentioning, because what they do increase on one end, they take away on another with the Medicare. But they did give a big 8.7% increase 2 years ago, which was the largest any of us have seen in 40 years. It amounted to about another $150 for me. I pray that somewhere in my lifetime, before I leave this world, that we'll have another 1 or more of those increases, because they certainly are needed. But they always justify a way that, oh, it doesn't cost you any more to live, so you don't get any more. That's the government for you. They don't want to give you nothing. But anyway, this example is going to exclude any increases, which are going to come, and possibly some bigger ones. This is going to keep the math simple. So I receive, oh my gosh, it's really getting windy here in Texas. I receive $1,700 a month. That totals to $20,400 a year. And you say, well, that isn't very much money. No, it isn't. That's why I told you it's not meant to support you. But guess what? If I sent you a check or knocked on your door and said, guess what, Jimmy, Mary, it's your lucky day. I'm just going to give you $20,400 and give it to you each month, and it's going to total that every year. You want it? You want to take it? Okay, so I made my point. $20,400 free money for the rest of my life, not for a couple of years. It's not a deal, a contract. I don't have to give it back. It's my money to keep, spend, throw away, burn, give away, whatever I want to do. It's my money I paid in. So $20,400. And guess what? There is a limitation for a short time, a couple of years, that they say if you're going to take this early, they want to try and do everything, see, to keep you from taking it. You can't make but so much money if you're going to take this money, your money. And don't get me started on that. But anyway, they say you can make $23,240 currently. And that goes up every year too. And since I've been on Social Security, it's gone up a few thousand. So it will continue to go up. But remember, we're not gonna talk about that. So that means that I can make $20,400 for free, and I can do a side hustle and earn without any jeopardy of losing my Social Security of an additional $22,000+. So now I'm 40, got it right here actually. I've got $42,720 a year that I can make. And by taking my standard deduction, which we're all allowed, that was increased by the president on the last term, I can now generally not owe much or anything actually on income tax, because the standard deduction is, I forget what it was, 18 or 20 grand, something like that. It's a lot of money that you take right off of your earnings. You say, no, I didn't make $42,720. I only made 20 grand, whatever it is. Whatever that deduction is. It's a pretty good size amount. Called a standard deduction if you don't itemize, if you don't do a Schedule C. That leaves you owing either nothing or very little. And if you live in a state that doesn't have state tax, then you get to escape that too. So now you're making equivalent with working 10 or 20 hours a week as a side hustle, hardly working. It's like falling out of bed to make, another $1,700 or $1,800 a month, doing anything. I mean, people are paying $15, $17 an hour now to work at McDonald's. So you got this money coming in, and your take home is every bit as much, because the average income is only 30 grand a year. That's all it is. The median income per household is 78 grand a year. So the average income for higher paying jobs is like $56,000 a year. So you got the average income of 30, 35, whatever it is for every person in America, averaged out. That's what it is. And if you do the average of what somewhat earners, higher earners make, it's in the 50s. Okay, that's it. That's before taxes, folks. That's before taxes. That's before the standard deduction. So you're not taking home that much more, and you've got a lot more bills. That's why so many people are in debt in credit cards. That's why people are stressed out. That's why people are wanting raises and everything else they're complaining about today, because they owe this much and they receive this much. So if you get to where you don't owe anything or very little, and you get this much free and working a little side hustle, that's a game changer. And you don't have to go to a job, as often. You're living a free life. So anyway, back to the numbers. I get $1,700 a month, $20,400 a year. I'm making $42,700 because I'm making at least that much more on my side hustle. And then there's a special rule. This is the good news about getting your Social Security at 62. Do you know if you're that 50,000 plus a year income earner, even 100 grand, and let me just back up a little bit. I've always said this. There's only one reason not to collect Social Security at 62. One reason. And that's if you're making so much money and you love your job. Because all they're going to do is take it away from you anyway. Because if you go over the limit, for every $2 you make over that $23,000 that they allow you to make, they take $1 back of your Social Security. So it wouldn't do you any good. So you got to love your job and be making so much money that you don't want to quit. And generally that's because you got a lot of debt. But anyway, back to the numbers. $20,400 a year, $1,700 a month. Making about that or more a year in a side hustle, I'm making $42,000, $43,000 a year. Good money. That special rule is this. If you made 100 grand, 50 grand, and this month in 2024, the month of July, is your birthday, you're going to get your Social Security at 62. Well, you say, wait a minute, I went over the income limit. I've already made 50, 60 grand. Doesn't count. That's right, free. You'll owe your taxes at the end of the year, but it won't affect your Social Security, because Social Security says from the time you start drawing your Social Security, as long as you don't earn anything monthly more than the average allowable amount, that $23,000 they allow you, divide that by 12 months, and the remainder of the year, whatever months are left, as long as you don't go over that amount, then you're golden. So you have that first year that you don't really, only make 42 grand. You could quit your job where you made 30, 40, 50, 80 grand, whatever it was, first 6 months, and it didn't hurt you. And then there's another special rule. Before you can earn all you want without any penalty of losing your Social Security, you have to become what they call full retirement age, the age of 67. And on the year that you're gonna be 67, your full retirement age, please excuse me, it's bright out here. They give you another special rule and allow you to make $59,520. That's what it is this year. Remember, these numbers are all going to go up over your lifetime. Every year they increase it. So now you had a few years. You had the first year, it didn't hurt you. Then you had your last year, the year you become full retirement age. They're like, hey, before we allow you to make all you want, we're going to allow you to make close to 60 grand on top of your Social Security. That's like $80,000 right there that you can make the year you turn full retirement age. And after that, it's all gloves are off. You can make all you want. So there's a couple of years where you got to watch your income, but because of that first year and that last year, if you average that out over the 5 years that you'll be collecting your Social Security from 62 to 67, you're going to be averaging $58,104. That's if I make the maximum I'm allowed to make on the last year, and I make the most I can make without jeopardizing my Social Security every year after 62. I'm averaging almost 60 grand a year. And remember, I'm retired. I don't have any debt, not much to speak of. So, and I'm living, this is the most important part, folks. I'm living those years, those 5 years where I change. You get to that roller coaster and it starts to go downhill. I'm living those 5 years of that last part of my runway that's really going to be my peak, best, not my best years, but my peak before maybe I start going down. I feel a little slower. I walk with a little more of a hunch. I start having it in my face. I see it now. My eyesight's going badly, which it is. And things start wearing out. My gizzards are wearing out. I'm becoming a high mileage vehicle. But I got to live and do the things that I'm doing right now. I'm traveling around the country with a travel trailer, towing it behind a Toyota Tundra, going through the mountains, dealing with truckers, hooking it up, doing what I got to do, cooking meals, barbecuing, going to the stores. I'm doing anything I need to do, and I'm doing it without any problem at all. But if I want to wait till I'm 67, I might say, you know what? I got this $700 more money. We're going to talk about that extra money, how much really it isn't. And now, I just don't feel like doing that stuff. I would have 5 years ago. I got a friend of mine right now, he's my age. He said, I don't want to go through all that hooking up the trailer on the trailer hitch. I just want to drive one. There's already certain things that people get to be 65, 66, they're like, nope, I don't want to get involved with that. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not going to do it. So some people progress faster than others, but progress you will. So live those good years, start your Social Security, get your free check at 62, and start enjoying whatever it is that you choose to do in your life that you get to do, rather than giving your time and your life and your best years, the remaining part of your best years to some employer at a prison job. Now let's talk about the other side of the coin, the people, the naysayers. Oh, he don't know what he's talking about. Wait till give your life away. Give them another 5 years. Wait till you're really old. Wait till you start looking like this. Wait till you're hunched over. Wait till you don't want to hook up a trailer anymore and get $700 and maybe die a year later. Here's what you get, folks. Here's what you get. This is me if I waited until 67 years old. I go from $1,700 a month to $2,400 a month. Now things cost more. And remember, my original amount will go up with the cost of living. So will this one. But I mean, $700 to give away the prime of your life. $700 times 12, a total of $2,400. And you say, how do you come up with that? Supposedly you get 30% less and you would get 30% more should you wait 5 more years. So $2,400 less 30% or 70% of that is $1,700, which is what I get. So I would be getting, if I waited, $2,400 times 12 is $28,800 a year compared to my $20,400 a year. $8,400 more money. But now because I waited until I was 67, when I started at 62, when I became 67, I already had $102,000 in my bank. That's how much I drew. You didn't draw anything. You worked and you paid taxes and you paid to go to that job and you gave away your life and you paid what it cost to support a vehicle and dry cleaning and all that stuff we talked about. You didn't do anything. You kept paying into your Social Security and all that. And it doesn't help you because you're not going to get much more than anybody else. We all get about the same. As long as you have worked reasonably most of your life, you know, it's the best 35 years is what they base it on. And I get what most people get. Most people get what I get. Some people get a lot less because they weren't big earners or they didn't pay taxes or they didn't work that many years. That's the only ones. Everybody else gets kind of the same. So, $2,400 a month, that's $700 more. That's the amount you would get. That's how much I would have got if I waited 5 more years. The end of that year at 67, I would have collected $28,800. That's all I would have gotten, $28,800. I'm only just beginning. I got the more money, but I've only got $28,800 in my pocket at 67. My twin brother that started at 62, he's already got $102,000 in his pocket. Something's wrong with this picture. I'm starting to see it now. But we both go out another 5 years to the age of 72 to where really, I mean, your life then, if you don't have less runway in front of you than you do behind you at 72 years old, then you are Superman because you got a very short runway in front of you. And what runway you got, even if it was extended, what kind of runway is it? It's full of potholes because that's how you're going to be walking, looking, and acting. You're going to be an old person. And you know what? You might spend 8 years of your life in a retirement home like some do. They're existing because their gizzards won't give up, but they don't have really much life. You know, some people take 4 or 5 years to die. Some people, you know, die in a month. They get cancer or whatever. But your best years are not in front of you. Your best years are definitely behind you. So think about that. So I go out to 72. I've lived all I can. I started at 62. I now have been collecting that $20,400 a year, that $1,700 a month. What was that? Scared me. Something blew over. And now I have collected $204,000 in my life before I started deteriorating and became a high mileage vehicle. And my twin brother, who started at 67, he's only got 5 years of collecting. He's 72 also, and he's got a whopping $144,000. $60,000 less money at the same age at 72. 60 grand for that $700 more a month. And if you divide $700 into 60 grand, that's 86 months of checks that you would have to collect to catch up, or 7 years. That puts you at 79, 80 years old, folks. It would be before you get the same amount of money by waiting for $700 more money at 67, full retirement age. You would have to draw until you're 80 years old to get what I got at 72 and enjoyed it from 62 and had more free time, worked less, did more stuff, felt like doing more stuff. So you draw the comparison. What is it about? Is it about amassing wealth? Is it about staying at the job? Is it about giving your life away from your family and your children and your travel and from yourself to an employer? Is it about the money? Is it about never seeing your first Social Security check because when you become 67, all that stress and working all that killed you? You got cancer? You dropped of a heart attack? I mean, seriously. I got one more bit of math here. When I make that earnings that I'm allowed to make with my Social Security every year at, oh, I've got it right here. Please indulge me. This is really the crescendo. Starting at 62 and going to be up 60 grand over my twin brother. The 5 years of earning that $42,720, because that's the amount I can make plus my Social Security, is $213,600 from 62 to 67. It's not $20,400 a year, it's $43,000 a year approximately, and that's $213,600 by the time I'm 67. And my twin brother hadn't drawn anything. At 72, for the 10 years that I would have drawn at 72 years old, earning just the minimum amount, without the cap being removed, in which it would be for 5 years, if I just stayed at that amount they allow me to make for 10 years, I'm only capped at that for a few years, I will have drawn $427,200. Now, a lot of people I meet that are in their mid 60s that retire and get on their Social Security end up doing things in their life that made them more money than they ever did when they worked. I've had a lot of people tell me. But look, $427,200 at 72 years old, which is an average of I don't know if I have that average here, but you can just divide it. 427,200 divided by 10. I guess it's the 42,000 or whatever it is a year. But so you see there, folks, and then with the fact that I can actually earn more than that as a self-employed person, that's another topic because it's based on your adjusted gross income, not if you're a W-2 person. The fact that the earnings limit will be removed at full retirement age of 67, and I can make $1 million a year if I want and still keep my Social Security. All of these benefits, folks, will enable you to understand that waiting one day past the age of 62 to draw your Social Security is doing nothing but costing you money. It's like looking at a $20 bill on the ground, walking by and saying, oh, maybe tomorrow it'll be a 50. You know, I'll just let it lay there. Tomorrow may not ever come. Today is the day to crush it.